Hi, and welcome back. Happy 2026. Let's find my first 5-star read of the year. I cannot believe I told you I didn't think I'd give it 5 stars because right now I'm reading 2 amazing books. I'm so excited to start reading this year. Part of my goal is to get through as much of my physical TBR as possible. And to do that, we're going to start off with 2 books I'm reading kind of at the same time. I just started the audiobook version of Fredrik Backman's My Friends, and that is because I wanted an audiobook to listen to and I want to get through my physical TBR, so I'm listening to books I own. Secondly, I don't know where it is, but I'm going to be reading Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare, which is book 1 in the Dark Artifices trilogy, which is her 3rd trilogy in the Shadowhunter world. I read The Mortal Instruments years and years ago in high school, and then I read The Infernal Devices, which is Clockwork Angel, Prince, and Princess, I believe, 2 or 3 years ago, and adored it. And I've owned her other 2 series, which are The Dark Artifices, Lady Midnight is the first one, and then I already own the entire next trilogy, which is Chain of Gold, Chain of Iron, Chain of Thorns. With that, my goal is to do little check-ins and sort of reading vlog style as I read both of these books and share my thoughts with you along the way. I am really excited because apart from getting through my physical TBR, I would love to read more fantasy this year, which is why I decided to pick up Lady Midnight so early on in the year, tackle that goal head on. And I love Fredrik Backman so much. I especially love listening to his books on audiobook. I listened to the Beartown trilogy on audiobook, and I thought there was one more by him that I listened to on audiobook, but I may be lying. I've read A Man Called Ove, I've read Anxious People, Every Day the Winding Road Gets Shorter / Longer. That's one of his short stories, and My Friends is his latest release, so I'm really excited to get into that. Let's get to reading. Hopefully I have a 5-star out of one of these 2. If not, we'll keep going. And I've given Cassandra Clare and Fredrik Backman 5 stars before, so that's why I picked those 2 to start out. Imagine we get 2 5 stars right away, then you have 2 recommendations from me on books to read. We'll see. I don't know if we'll be that successful, but fingers crossed. Let's get reading. I've got about 5 hours left of My Friends by Fredrik Backman, and it's not a 5-star at this very moment. It's not impacting me in the same way his other books have. It's incredible. It really is, and the writing is so beautiful. Something about it is not hitting like Beartown did and Anxious People, but I'm gonna hold out hope. It's kind of reminding me of how I felt about A Man Called Ove, which I did not give 5 stars. I didn't love it quite as much as his other books. So I will keep listening / reading. I'm about to cook, and we'll see. Things can change. 5 hours is quite a lot. We're getting really in-depth in the backstory of the original friend group right now, so it's pulling at my heartstrings a lot. But I'm excited to cook and keep listening and continue having a cozy time and hopefully be on my journey to a 5-star. Let's see. I just made a ginger pear tea, and this mug says, "Shh, I'm reading." Ella, my cat, is making her way to me. She's like slowly walking closer and closer because she knows couch time is prime time for her to get cuddles. I have about 4 hours left of My Friends. It's getting better and better as I go. It's already an incredible book, like I said. I'm holding up this baton about a different book. Pulling at my heartstrings a little too much in ways that are making it actually steer away from a 5-star. And while I love Ted, I guess it makes sense why he is one of the main characters or the ones who made it out. I don't know what to think. I need to finish that book and I will come to you with more cohesive thoughts. But I'm so excited. This hunt for a 5-star is a very fun journey that we're on. I am just over 40 pages through. Ella just moved because an alarm went off and she got scared, but I've got some ambiance YouTube in the background and I'm really enjoying it. It's going by really quickly, actually. I've annotated only 2 parts. I did get pretty entranced by the prologue Is that what it's called? Yeah, prologue and then first chapter, and I forgot to annotate, but then I started tabbing, and I'm doing blue are clues or not clues. Sorry, blue are touching moments or bringing back memories from reading The Mortal Instruments, because this happens right after, or 5 years after that series ends. And then this color, which is kind of pinkish, I'm doing clues or something that I think will be important later or that is a little bit suspicious. And I'm excited to keep reading. One thing I've noticed though is I don't like looking down so much. I wish I had something to prop my book so it was more at eye level, if that makes sense, because it kind of hurts my neck and I get tired when I'm looking down. And then that was also in an Andrew Huberman podcast that you should try and have it at eye level. So maybe, I don't know, I'll get something like one of those tables for your lap. We'll see, but it's going well. We are having the best time. You can barely see her behind my jelly cat that my book is resting on. But here's Ellabella. I can already tell where I think the romance is going to go. They made a very big deal in chapter 1 or 2 about, oh my goodness. They made a very big deal in the first 2 chapters about how parabatais are platonic only. And then Julian, her parabatai, our main character's parabatai, Emma is our main character, finally comes back. He was in London for the summer, I think. And he just comes back. It's the first time they've seen each other in months. And this is page 58. So it's not really a spoiler because I've barely made a dent in this fat book. And she goes, though the pain she had felt while Julian was in England, the stretched rubber band feeling she'd hated, was gone. She now felt a new strange ache near her heart. She says how he looks more adult, he grew out his hair, he has more muscle, and he looks tan. And she's seeing him in this new light thinking, what is happening? And they made a big deal about how it is against the law to be romantically involved with your parabatai. But Emma doesn't really care about the law, is what we've learned in these 58 pages. She's not exactly law-abiding citizen / shadow hunter. I'm really enjoying it so far. I wonder if she is Lady Midnight. It's an interesting premise. Curious that her parents weren't victims of everything that went down in the Mortal Instruments series. I'm really intrigued. I was just setting up all of those sticky notes that you see back there for 75 Soft, which is a challenge I'm doing. And I was listening to Fredrik Backman's My Friends the whole time because that took so much longer than I anticipated. There were some technical difficulties. Stickies have already started falling. Anyway, on the book, my gosh, do I have thoughts. The part I just got at, one of the main characters is leaving, and I think she's gonna go back. I don't think this is a major spoiler because you have no idea what I'm talking about if you haven't read the book, and you will not know what I'm talking about until you get to this point in the book. So it's not a spoiler, but it's playing with my heart because there are still, I think, 3.5 hours left, maybe 3 of the audiobook. So I know that they have to, that this can't be it. Now that we've gotten closer and closer to the end and they're still on this train, I have to say I love the premise. They have been on this train for a majority of the book as their friendship develops, and I really like that. I didn't realize how long this train journey is because we're never actually told how long the journey is. We never know the names of the towns that they're in. That is something about Fredrik Backman that I noticed. I think in the translated versions, perhaps it's just that they don't want you to know it's not in America or North America, but because he's a Swedish author, I'm assuming that these towns or where he writes from are inspired by places in Sweden. But other than Beartown and Hed, which are the 2 towns mentioned in Beartown and Hed, we never actually get a country or city or town name. So I have no idea where they are. And what's interesting is in this one, they say like everyone speaks English in the big city, but I wonder if that was changed from Swedish when it was translated. I'm really enjoying it. Now I'm a bit frustrated because she left him and I need to keep listening, but I have so much work to do. Work is really busy today. Things keep changing. So I've been kind of multitasking a lot. I took a break over lunch to plop those up and listened to my book. I read a tiny bit this morning of Lady Midnight. I actually got the book just there on my bed. And I'm almost halfway through. Last night I read a lot. I got to about 250 pages. And I want to say that I'm at 300 now. It is incredible! The thing is, now my friends I'm growing more and more attached to as I get closer to the end. So I wonder if that will somehow turn into a 5-star. Lady Midnight is incredible. I forgot how much I love Cassandra Clare. Even though I talk about her so highly and I recommend her to everyone, I haven't been in the Shadowhunter world in so long that I forgot the grip it has on me from the first page. So we might be ending this video incredibly soon because right now I'm reading 2 amazing books. Such a good problem to have. Such a fantastic problem to have. I'm not complaining. I made some peppermint tea after lunch and that has been my favorite thing lately. You're technically not supposed to, but it's really good to actually drink peppermint tea before a meal. I think it helps with digestion and just, I don't know what else, but I know it helps with digestion. But I was so hungry, I did not wait for my tea and I just made it after my meal, but it is so good. I had homemade chicken and mushrooms with Chick-fil-A sauce that I bought a while ago in the States. And then I had a slice of my homemade sourdough bread, which sounds impressive, but it really did not rise that well. That's one thing. Sourdough is so humbling. I have made 4 loaves now. One has turned out properly. Anyway, I'm gonna try and work as much as I can. I am seeing my boyfriend tonight. I think my best friend Jazz is coming over too to grab some sourdough, and then hopefully we just get in bed really early and read all night. I would love that. My book is so good! Both of them, but especially Lady Midnight. I really want to read more of that. Okay, I'll update you later. I am basking in the sun like a flower, soaking up all the nutrients and vitamins it can offer. I am really excited. I have a lovely, lovely weekend ahead, but I don't know how much reading will get done. So I kind of want to finish My Friends today. We'll see if that's possible. It's Friday, January 23rd. And I finished Lady Midnight last night. I am forever changed, but I'm not quite ready to talk to you about it just yet. I have a bunch of work to do. Oh, I just got a notification on Teams. So I'm gonna continue listening to My Friends. I've got my speaker just there. I'm in bed because I get the most sun in my room. I normally am 100% against working in bed. I only read and sleep in bed, and that's how I can hopefully sleep better at night. You know what? Life is short. I want to bask in the sun, and I get the most access to it in my bed. So I'm going to continue listening to this book. I think we're at 3 hours, maybe 2.5 left. Honestly, I've been making slow progress on My Friends because it's so beautiful. I like to listen more intently than usually when I listen to audiobooks. And later I will come to you with my thoughts on Lady Midnight. Was it a 5-star? You'll find out. Let's go back to some reading. My Friends is getting incredible. I didn't realize that most of the story we'd be getting is actually about the friend group from the past, from 25 years ago, and we're getting told the story of that friend group from one of the people in the friend group, and it's now present day wherever we are, and he's giving the backstory of all the friends, their families, the artist who is not our main character but kind of our main character. I would say all of the friends get their own moment throughout the book to shine, but Louisa is the who propels the story forward, and it is beautiful. My best friend came over last night for a little dinner and chatting, and we watched the Habs game. She said she saw a video about Frederick Bachman. Someone just wrote how beautifully he writes books, and all of his books are about such important, wonderful things, and I completely agree. It's meaning of life, but in a heavy and lighthearted way. The humor in his books are incredible. I don't know what I'm gonna rate My Friends. I can't tell yet. I really can't tell you because it's not hitting the same as his other books. And Lady Midnight, I have thoughts. I loved it. My Goodreads review was, I want to infuse this book into my veins. I think something like that. Like I want to feel it in my bloodstream. Anyway, we'll get to that. Okay, I'll see you soon. I think I have 4 minutes left of My Friends. either 4 minutes left in the chapter or 4 minutes left of the book, and I wanted to pause and talk to you about how I'm feeling. I predict it's going to be a 5-star. What is so crazy to me is that Lady Midnight, which I annotated, and I haven't annotated a book in a really long time, I loved so much, but I only gave it 4 stars on Goodreads because I thought the whole point of it, which was finding out why Emma's parents were truly murdered. In this book, Emma is one of our protagonists. That was just executed so poorly, and it left a bad taste in my mouth. And even though I expressed Amazon Prime ordered the second book in the series, because I had the third but I didn't have the second, and I really want to finish the series, so even though this book was so good that it made me really excited to continue, I didn't give it 5 stars. And I was shocked, and then I was thinking, how long is this video gonna be? Because I don't think My Friends is 5 stars, which means hopefully, what's this one even called? Lord of Shadows, the second in the series, will be 5 stars. Okay, we need to move this. I loved this book, but not 5-star worthy. And then I was thinking, oh my gosh, when am I gonna find a 5-star? I think My Friends is it. I take back what I've been saying. I've been a liar. I cannot believe I told you I didn't think I'd give it 5 stars. Frederick Brockman has done it again. I don't even know which book to talk to you about right now. I was getting ready and I didn't do my hair yet, but I got to the end of My Friends and I don't want it to be over. And so this is me drawing out the experience of reading that book, talking to you so that it's not over yet. I'm sure I'll have so much to tell you once I finally finish, which is really soon. So much is revealed in the last 2 hours, so I don't know what percent that is, of the book, that truly make the first 70-80% of it so much beautifuler, so much more beautiful and worth it. Also, the relationship that develops between essentially an old man and an 18-year-old girl is really funny, but done so well, and I can just tell that they'll be best friends forever, which I love. Such a random slice of life example of friendship can stem from anywhere. I'm gonna finish it now. I'm scared. I have a feeling it'll be a 5-star. I also actually have a signed copy, which is really exciting. I found it in New York a year ago, and I was on the hunt for it. I remember it was the last one that said the sticker signed by author, and I'm really glad I have that because he is so talented. Let's read some more. I'm finally ready to talk to you about Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. And just to give you an idea of how much time I needed to digest, I've already started Lord of Shadows, the second book in the series, and I'm 110 pages in. So a few days have passed since I finished this bad boy, but oh my goodness, do I have thoughts. I love Emma and Jules with my entire heart. It's also funny because his name is Julian. She sometimes calls him Jules as a nickname, and 2 of my best friends are called Julianne and Julian, and we call them Jules and Julian. I call them Jules and Julian. So it's funny that they're 2 different people in my real life, but in this book, it's the same guy. All that to say, I adored them with my whole heart. I annotated quite a bit, which is really fun. There were such funny moments. I swear I laughed out loud quite a few times, and my boyfriend and I love to read together, and sometimes I would giggle at something, and he would look over and kind of ask like, okay, what was funny? He wanted to know. But you just don't get it if you don't know the context. I'm already thinking back to a quote actually in the second one. This just happened this morning and we were together and I laughed at something that Julian said to Kit, who becomes a lot more important in the second book, which we kind of realize Kit will one day be important. He is essentially who kicks off this first book. He's the son of someone in the night market. I think that's what it's called, the night market. The first chapter of this book is from his POV, and then we never get his POV again. So you kind of know something's sus. Why did we get the first chapter from his POV? We get more in the second book. Anyway, as much as I adored this book, binge read it, and I haven't in so long, have not binge read a book in a very long time, I'm stuck on the fact that I feel unsatisfied. I feel similarly to Emma, our main character, because how we're kicking off this book is that we want to find out why her parents actually died. You put me through all of this, through 700 pages of plot twists and character development and new systems of magic. Kind of, I knew them from the other two series in the Shadowhunter world, but still like new intricacies of magic. And cool, I'm intrigued. I'm definitely going to keep reading to find out more, but it did not solve in a way that I wanted to Emma's trauma and Emma's hunch that her parents died for something else than the Dark War, which happened in the Mortal Instruments. And we were correct. I mean, Emma was correct, and, you know, we follow along this journey of why she thinks they didn't die because of that, and they didn't, but why they did was so stupid. So then in the second book, I honestly, only 110 pages in, already so many times Emma has said she just feels a bit empty because she achieved the thing she wanted to achieve for 5 years post-war. And now what is she to do? Because it was a very unsatisfying thing to achieve. She got the answer she wanted. She can't bring them back. Anyway, that is my rant. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That is why I could not give this book 5 stars. The thing is, it's going on my phenomenal list 1,010%, and you should follow my Goodreads. I have a phenomenal list, which are books that in a heartbeat I recommend to anyone. They stuck with me for some reason, and I just think everyone should read them, even if you won't necessarily give it 5 stars. I think they're important, impactful, promising, exciting, memorable books for some reason, and you should read them. Hence my phenomenal title for that shelf, but it's not a 5 star because I'm stuck on this and I'm pissed off and will be pissed off about this forever. I'm gonna take a breath now. That sums up my experience reading Lady Midnight. I have to run, so I will give you my thoughts on Fredrik Backman's My Friends in more detail very soon. All right, the time has come. Let's talk Fredrik Backman's My Friends. I ended up rating this, drumroll please, 5 stars, as you certainly could have guessed. It was truly the plot twist rating of the year, definitely, because we're still in the first month of the year. But I thoroughly enjoyed this book. This is actually one of the first times I'm picking up the physical copy since starting to read it, because as I've been mentioning, I've been listening to it on audiobook, partly because I have a signed edition and I liked to preserve it a little bit. This is such a beautiful cover though. I really love the painting mention on the cover. If you read the book, you know, but also it's not really a spoiler. A lot of the book revolves around one painting of the sea. I'm so glad I read this. I'm really glad I decided to start the audiobook. Truly, as you can see behind me, I have a problem of how many books I own. I think I'm just under 100 now, actually. I might be at 90 something, but I was at about 110 was the peak, 115 books on my physical TBR. And my goal in 2026 is to get through as much of that as possible. I don't want to set an 100 book reading goal. And even if I did, I would definitely still be buying new releases. So it's very unrealistic to say that I'm going to get through my whole TBR this year. But I want to go on a light book buying ban. So new releases and auto buy authors, of course. If it's for my book club as well and I really want to buy the book, I will buy the physical copy. But other than that, I'm going to try to keep myself accountable to read as much as I can off of there before buying more books. Long story short, I owned My Friends and I was walking or doing errands and I thought, wait, I should really listen to an audiobook right now. And what I decided to do was look at my physical TBR list on Goodreads. You should be my friend on there. And then I saw that Fredrik Backman had this version on audiobook. What's so amazing is that all of his books, like I mentioned, are narrated by the same person, at least on Audible. And what's really frustrating is I have another book of his on my TBR. I think it's My Grandmother Sends Her Regards. I cannot find it right now. Oh, My Grandmother Sends Her Regards and Apologies. That sounds lovely. I'm sure it's going to get me in my feels, but I can't find that one on Audible. That was what I wanted my next read to be, and I truly don't know if it's in audiobook format. With My Friends, once again, he knocked it out of the park in terms of the emotional grip this book had on me. I find it so interesting because at the start of every book of his, I'm almost hesitant to like the characters, and I'm indifferent a little bit to them. I find he really eases into the character arcs and even the plot. Like, you have to be willing to go along for the ride and not push through the beginning, because he's still an incredible author and it's funny from probably page 4, but you do have to realize there's an end goal and you are going to grow to care so much about these characters and what happens to them that it's okay that we're talking about such mundane things at the start. It also started off really heavy, learning that Fish died, our main character's best friend, super early on. Kind of felt a bit, whoa, okay, we're diving into the sadness right away, and diving in we did, and then it just continues the whole book. But what's crazy is the deeper you get into the book, the more you care about the characters, because the more you've learned about them so far, and so then everything hits harder. And by the end, when specifically, again, if you've read it, you know, when they're sitting on the roof and getting the end of the backstory, like the flashbacks, I remember I was cleaning my bathroom or something, or my kitchen, and I stopped what I was doing and just stood there with the audiobook playing, because I wanted to be fully immersed in what was happening. Another clue that I loved this book is how quickly I listened to it. I don't find myself listening to audiobooks for hours on end. I typically listen to 30 to 60 minutes a day. 60 is pushing it. Truly, like, it's usually more 30-minute chunks if I'm walking somewhere on public transit or doing chores. And I have such a hard time sometimes picking between, do I want to be listening to music right now? Do I want to call someone like a friend or my parents, my grandma? Or do I want to listen to an audiobook? I was picking audiobook pretty consistently while reading My Friends, and that's just because I wanted to find out more. I really, really loved this book. It was so interesting to read it at the same time as Lady Midnight, which I have right here, which unfortunately, as you saw in the last clip, did not get 5 stars, but already Lord of Shadows is quite promising, even though I really don't like they don't like them either. The scholars, the Shadowhunter scholars that come and stay with them. I have so many opinions. Anyway, reading Lady Midnight and My Friends at the same time was such a... Oh, those are pretty similar covers. I mean, they're both in the water. What are the odds? I read 2 water-based books for this first book video of the year. Reading them at the same time was quite interesting, because this is like really slice of life. They're on a train, we're hearing about their day-to-day, their family relationships. Like, everything is so mundane that happens in this book. Everything is so regular. Of course, it's traumatic and these characters go through so much, but at the same time, nothing is really out of the ordinary. It's all, unfortunately, things that people go through in day-to-day life and that the people around us have probably experienced in one form or another. And it shows the strength and resilience of love and friendship, and every type of relationship you could have with a human is explored in this book in such a beautiful way. And I think the message really solidifies that stay close to your people and be there for your people. And life is short but also incredibly long, so find what brings you passion and follow that and do it. Versus Shadowhunters killing demons, the weird cult thing, but also the characters explored in this book I adored, and I fell in love with Emma and Julian in ways I never would have imagined. All of the siblings, actually, the entire Blackthorn family, chef's kiss. Mark, what a twist. I also love Christina, though I was very hesitant about her at the beginning, and I still kind of think maybe there'll be a plot twist with her. All that to say, I loved the duality of reading these at the same time. I got such different experiences from them, but it was really, really fun, and I thoroughly enjoyed both. So I'm set up for success for 2026. I haven't read, I don't think, any other books since we've been starting this video. I just jumped into the second book of that Shadowhunters trilogy, and I want to get through that as quickly as possible because it is so good. And then I think it'll be fun to find my next 5-star read of the year. That is where I leave you. Thank you so much for watching along my journey of finding my first 5-star read of 2026. Thank goodness it was a success. And again, pretty quickly and pretty unexpectedly, I truly thought Lady Midnight had more potential to be a 5-star, so that's quite funny that I doubted my Fredrik Backman. How dare I? I hope you have a lovely day, evening, whatever time you're watching this, and I will see you in the next video. Happy reading!